Alright, so now we're going to write full equations, not just look at the slopes, but actually write the entire equation of the line. And this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, which we know you've seen before, and that's because slope-intercept, slope is the m, the y-intercept point is the b number, and that tells us about the graph. So for this example, we have a slope of 3/5 and a y-intercept of 4. So this is our slope, this is our y-intercept. The y-intercept always has an x-coordinate of 0 because this is our y-axis, this is our x-axis. If a point is on the y-axis, then the x-coordinate is 0, and the y-coordinate will be something. In this case, 4. So we have y-intercept of 4, slope of 3/5, and come on now, that will give us y equals 3/5 times x plus 4. Now if I ask for the slope is not 3/5 x, it's just 3/5 for this line. Alright, so now another simple example here. Slope is 2, we use m for the slope. So we've got y equals -2, my bad. -2 times x plus -7 because that's our y-intercept. I'd prefer that you write that as y equals -2x minus 7. It's going to look like you know what you're doing there. Alright, so there's a couple of U-tries for those, that kind of thing. So now, let's say you're given, instead of the slope and y-intercept, you're given a graph. Well, you still need to find the y-intercept and find the slope and then write it. Well, the y-intercept is, that is an eyeball looking at the y-intercept of 3. And then our slope, pick any 2 points on the line. I like to pick 2 that cross at a nice little grid point there. So that's going to be down 1, forward 2. So that gives me a rise over run, or a slope of -1 over 2. So our equation is going to be y equals -1 over 2 times x plus 3. Now, I don't want to see you write it like this. -1 over 2x plus 3. That is wrong, all right, because that shows the x on the bottom. That's a totally different looking graph. I'd like to see -1/2 times x. So try to space it out right next to it. And next, last but not least, another example here. They're given 2 points. I don't really like this second point, so the y-intercept's identified as 1. And then let's find another point. Here's a good point. That's going to be a rise of 3, run of forward 1. So that's a slope of 3 over 1, or just 3. So we have y equals 3x plus 1 is the equation of that line. Here's, oh, you got a U-try for that. Alright, so last one, graphing it. So now you're given the equation, and you got to put it on the graph. So again, you're going to sim process just working backwards. The easiest thing to do, or what you need for a line, is either 2 points or a point in the slope. Here we have the angle of our line, the slope, and 1 point. That y-intercept there tells us that 2 on the y-axis is a point, and then this says that we go up 2, forward 3, because they're both positive, so that's the slope there. So we're going to go from our y-intercept up 2, forward 3. You don't actually have to draw the purple lines, but you should definitely have that dot, and I want you to dot every one that fits on the graph. So I'm going to continue the pattern backwards as well. So 3, 2, 3, 2, and those are all the ones I can get. There's a pretty good looking line. Even if my line doesn't hit all the dots, those dots show that I know what I'm doing. Then, here's a U-try, do a couple of those. Here's a hint, this is like 2 over 1 for doing the slope on that bad boy. Enjoy, see you next class.